Hello, it's some dust or something. I'm here today because I wanted to make a showcase on Lambeosaurus in Path of Titans. I just got mine to adult. I've played it a fair bit though, and I think I have a pretty good idea of how you should play this thing and what its good and bad points are, so I wanted to take some time to talk about it with you. To start off, you are a herbivore, a fairly large herbivore, with a weight of 4,500. That's a little more than half of the roster in the entire game. So you're pretty heavy, which is good for not only taking damage from smaller things, but also dishing that damage out. You are actually fairly fast. Your speed here, it's really not bad. It's not as fast as like a Starak or something like that, I want to say. But it is definitely, you kind of scoot. I've never really had a hard time getting around the map. And if you can look down at the stamina bar, you can see it's not really draining that fast. The stamina on these guys is really good. You're looking at, let's see here, 250 stamina, which is actually pretty decent, especially for something big like this. And one of the great things about it is, I used up almost half of my stamina. I'm going to lay down. Watch how quickly it goes up. So I'm in sleep now. And it is just like a steady climb. Your stamina refills super quick. We're talking about your attacks. The way I run it is a bite, tail, and of course my healing call. That healing call is something that's unique to Lambeo, or Lamsauce as some people call it. It is the only dinosaur that can heal not only itself, but its herb. I believe it increases the health regeneration by something like 11 times for the herd, and it can be used while in battle, so you don't have to wait for your battle cooldown or anything like that, your PvP cooldown, in order to start regaining health as a Lambeo. You just pop that and you're immediately going to heal up really quickly. And that's not only good for being in a herd, it is fantastic. It does make Lambeo a fantastic herd dinosaur, but it's also really good for solo play. See, the way that you're really going to want to be playing Lambeo is kind of the way you would be playing a Barsboldia. You're going to be wanting to tail kite things, not only because your tail attack does pretty decent damage and has a really good range actually, but because anything that's coming at you, if they are able to catch up with you, they are not going to be wanting to take these hits to their face, and their attacks are going to be doing less, because the any attack that lands on your tail does less damage. Any attack that lands on the head of anything that's not like a trike does more damage. So you are going to be dishing out pretty substantial damage. It's going to want things to back off. If you see something bigger that maybe you don't want to fight, you can outrun it. You've got really good stam, you're fairly fast. You're going to outstam things like Apexes, no problem. We go into the abilities here. You've only got the bite, the tail attack, and the voice, so it's pretty, you know, milquetoast. There's nothing too varied going on. If we're looking at metabolism, you've got herbivore and forager, and if we're looking at hide, you do have the choice of running thick scales if you want something a little beefier. I think you're okay without it. I think that speed actually helps for kiting things quite a bit. Let's take a look, since this is a showcase, let's take a look at the animations and calls. So this right here is your broadcast. Really deep and guttural. Here's your heart. You're angry. Your alert. Your low call. And then you've just got the basic, you know, the shake it off and the look around. I do like that it gets up on its hind legs. This is a hadrosaurid, so it does make sense that it does that. In fact, if you're like trotting or something, you're on all fours, when you start sprinting it does lift up. All in all, I mean, I've fended off things like Allos as a subadult, you know, Megs. I've escaped a group just the other day. It was 2 adult Rexes and a Meg, and I managed to fight off the Meg and get away from the Rexes. What else is there really to go over? I mean, your swimming speed's really not even that bad, and since you are a bigger dinosaur, you can avoid swimming most of the time. You're not as big as something like a Bars or any of the Apexes, but I mean, you're fairly sizable. Now let's look at the skins for this guy. You've got the default, jungle, pitcher, blue crest, swamp, blue tone, koi, backer, slanted, which is what I'm using right now, bard, and then of course albino and melanistic. All in all, I think this is a good dinosaur. I mentioned in my what should you play as video that this is really going to shine in a group, and that is true. That heal, it turns a herb group from being scary to being terrifying. That heal is no joke. And but one thing that I should also mention is if you are playing alone, you get the heal very early, and it does really increase your odds of surviving. The fact that you can just pop that as soon as your health starts getting low in a fight and get right up back to being fighting fit is huge. You do have to keep in mind, if you're bleeding, it's going to nullify your heal. So things like aloes, things like Styraco, anything that can apply a bleed, Sarco, anything like that, just be aware that if they stack some bleed on you, you're not going to be able to pop that heal until you wear it off. But other than that, I've had no problem growing this this dino. I don't think I've died once growing it. I've had a lot of things come at me. You can see some scars like on my tail there. But as long as you're tail kiting correctly, you're keeping things behind you and you're whacking them with that tail attack, which again is very strong, you should be just fine. All in all, I definitely recommend. But anyway, guys, yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video.